Hello, welcome back to another episode of Living in Fear. This week we're talking about Sinners, which just came out. We're just freshly out of the theater, and we're excited to talk about this. Well, I'm excited. I don't know about you, Mia.
I'm excited.
Okay.
It just came out today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, at least today we're recording.
Cool. This is a podcast where we talk about horror movies and I don't know, maybe other related things. Like we just did an episode of The Last of Us, which is technically a show. So I don't know. This podcast can extend to other things, I guess.
Yeah,
We can
and we're
have
just having fun talking what we want to talk about.
yeah. Yeah. But first, Mia, what have you been up to?
I don't feel like I've been up too much. Like I've been doing random housework or things like that, boring things. I've been watching a lot of The Pit. You finally watched a few episodes.
Oh yeah. These fucking scarring episodes, man.
Yeah, you got to see a birth take place.
And they showed everything.
Yeah, they showed everything. See, I got to see that in health class when I was a kid, even though I tried to avoid it. When I looked at the TV, when I thought it was over, it was right at the moment it was happening. That was fun. Yeah, I like it. It's interesting. I
Yeah,
think I
I
really
like it
like
too.
to see behind the scenes of things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy that how many episodes are there? Like 20 or something? No, there's 12, right?
No, it's like 12 or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. It's like all in one day, and every episode is an hour. So, like, an episode will end, and I'm like, it's not even 3 p.m. yet. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
This
each
day is never gonna end.
yeah, it's 12 episodes and each episode is an hour of that story of that day. So from like 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. is one whole episode. And it's
Hmm.
crazy that it's so hectic and it's so much happens in 1 hour.
Yeah. I mean, it does take place in a hospital, in like an ER. So, I mean, that is a hectic job, hectic location, especially depending on where you are. Like if you're in a city or something, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
It's real crazy too. Yeah. I, because I mean, that's the thing. When I watched Adolescence last week, I really liked the first episode because it was like more of a procedural, like police drama or something. So I really liked seeing like an arrest take place and like the different, I don't know, laws they have to follow and the different ways and everything's organized and like so seeing it in like a hospital setting, I like that. I don't necessarily like always need like a bunch of drama,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with like, oh, who's in a relationship with who? Who's doing this? Like I'm like, no, sometimes I want to see like as if I'm really there, but without actually having to watch like some reality show or something.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, it reminds me of Scrubs, except without the funny part.
that's so funny.
It's all just very, very real and kind of depressing.
Yeah,
So many people die
yeah,
in real life too,
yeah.
in a hospital. I'm sure in one shift, like 20 people die probably.
I mean, I can't imagine that. I wonder what it is.
Yeah. In each episode, I feel like at least one patient dies, right?
Um,
I mean, granted, it is kind of
I
like
mean,
I'm not sure how realistic it is.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Also, you're kind of spoiling it.
No,
All right. So yes, I've been watching The Pit. We played a little more of South of Midnight. Not a lot, but a little bit. I still like it. I started reading The Court of Mist and Fury, second book in the Court of Thorns and Roses. We'll see. I'm only like 3 chapters in. Yeah, pretty much it. Simple stuff. Working. What about you?
what about me? I have been. I mean, I went on. We went on a hike yesterday. Made me realize that I'm really out of shape, and I need to go start running again. I feel like I work out, like I lift weights, but like that doesn't help with my cardio.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can definitely feel it. Um, and then yeah, my dog too. I feel like she's out of
Mm,
shape too, so we both need
yeah.
to go out running more. Especially we will this summer. It's getting hotter.
She gets more in shape during the summer when she actually, when there's nice weather and she can be outside more and be more active and instead of just sitting around the house when it's like cold and raining. But she's also getting a little older, so she is just a little slower too.
Yeah.
Poor dog.
But yeah. I don't know what else I've been doing. I've been playing Marvel Rivals again with my brother. I feel like I'm losing steam on that game.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know. It's just the same thing over and over. All the matches are the same. Like there's not many maps either, so you just play the same map, the same objective.
Yeah.
I usually only pick the one character. I only pick Scarlet Witch. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I need to find a new game, like a new multiplayer game that I can just pick up and just mindlessly play.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I feel like Marvel's Rivals was just very much like Overwatch for me, and Overwatch, like, I was okay with, but like, I didn't love.
mhm.
So that's like Marvel Rivals. Like, I liked even less than that. So I was just like, I'm good. You can play that one without me.
I mean, it just also I feel like it's better. It's a better game if you have a full team.
Yeah.
And it's just me and my brother, so we just get paired up with random people. Nobody has bikes in this game for some reason.
Yeah. I think that's the only way I was able to play Overwatch was because we normally had me, you, your brother, and like at least one other person
Yeah.
playing with us that we knew. Games are more fun with friends when they're those types of games.
Yeah, yeah. You like playing with other people. You
I don't
don't.
like playing with randoms.
Also, you don't like playing with me, so there's that.
I like playing certain games with you. Just those types of games, like I just feel like we need more than just us. Like I'm too weak of a gamer. So like I just, you know, don't do great. And then like you're good, but you're not enough to like carry the weight.
Yeah.
And so like we need like your brother or like one other person at least so it's like a little bit better. I like to play games with you, just not those types. And I don't like hearing people talk. If I don't know people, I immediately mute them because I don't want to hear the negativity. I don't want to hear, you know, any of that. I get, enough stress from like work. I don't want to make my like gaming experience stressful and negative.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. Um.
Can we talk about how our power went out?
Oh yeah.
So this guy, poor
Wait.
Luis,
uh,
when you went back to school, what happened?
My car got towed.
Yep. And then what happened in San Francisco?
I think I just got like a ticket my first
Oh yeah,
day.
that's right. You got a parking ticket. That's what it was. I was like trying to remember. I was like, it wasn't in the car towed again, but something else happened. You got a parking ticket. And then your first day here, right? When you were on Zoom
Mm-hmm.
for school, didn't the power go out? Or like the internet wasn't
Yes.
working or something?
Yes, I think so. Something.
Yeah, so it's like so many times and like it's like your first day for something. It's like something happens. And then this last time you had a job interview at 9 in the morning and then the power went out at 7:55.
Yeah. Had to do the
I just
interview on
felt
my
so bad.
phone.
Yeah. I mean it worked. But yeah. I was just like, oh my gosh, this poor guy, dude.
I don't know, man. The world hates me. I feel like the world doesn't want me to succeed.
I'd say you're doing fine. You may not feel like that, but you're doing fine. I feel like all those other experiences worked out well in the end, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Like you liked all your schools. But yeah, that was fun. Anyway, do you want to get into our questions?
yeah, let's do it.
You first.
All right, yeah. What is your favorite vampire piece of media?
Um, are we okay? So my question was going to be, what's your favorite depiction of vampires? Is that what you're asking, or are you asking just like,
Just name something a show or movie you like. Is what I'm saying.
okay,
Doesn't have to be the actual physical vampire. That could have still you could have still put that on there.
well, I'm gonna answer both then. Um, I really like the humanist vampire seeking suicidal consenting human, or what is it?
I don't know. You
What,
do. That's your favorite movie now.
it's such a long title. Like humanist vampire seeking consenting suicidal person. Okay, it's person. I always want to say like adult or something, but yes. I really like that one. That one's one of my new favorites. Um, I like True Blood. True Blood was cool back in the day. The first like 2 or 3 seasons, especially. That's kind of like campy vampire stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I had fun with that. As far as like, I mean, I talked about last week. I liked Stakeland, but I haven't seen it in a long time, so who knows how that holds up. But again, that was just like fun little like indie film that I just happened upon.
Yeah.
Um, I really liked Buffy the Vampire Slayer when I was a kid. I tried to like rewatch it like last year and it was okay. I just like couldn't really get into it where like I could like binge it like I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like I was super into that as a kid. I had like a little Buffy the Vampire like small mini black backpack that like the only way you could tell it was Buffy was because it said like Buffy the Vampire Slayer in small print on it. And I would put like water. I don't know if it was salt water or something that I pretended was holy water. And then I had like a little like stake in there that like was probably just like a branch or a stick or something. Like I used to carry that around and think I was cool. I was like a little 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Um, I will say as far as like depictions, I really liked this movie. Spoiler. And
Yeah.
I liked the Buffy the Vampire stuff and even like Nosferatu that we just saw. I kind of like that it's just like he's like this old, decrepit like creature, and I liked that depiction of it. And then there's like I haven't seen it in forever, but Interview with the Vampire. I like, I just remember that Kirsten Dunst like being turned as like a kid and being really upset and like trying to cut her hair, then it grows back and like seeing the way that forever can be kind of horrible. It can be kind of like boring.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I haven't seen the original, but I saw Let Me In, which is based off the like what is it? Is it Swedish? French? Let the Right One In. That one's about a little girl that's a vampire.
Yeah.
And I liked that one and I liked the depiction. I like kind of more classical vampire lore where it's like they have to be invited in, they burn in the sun, a wooden stake through the heart kills them, holy water, garlic, like that kind of stuff is just I like that. So yeah,
You haven't mentioned your most favorite
Twilight.
one though. Yeah. What happened to Twilight?
Twilight. Ugh, that is not that's not good vampire lore. They sparkle. Is there some enjoyment I get out of watching some of the Twilight stuff? Yeah. I will stand by. I love their soundtracks. Especially like the first like two I really like. I really like the aesthetic of like the second one and the first one. And the first one is cool if it's just like a little like indie vampire flick. But the second it's like actually taken seriously and gets like a bigger budget, it just gets like worse and worse. And
Yeah.
even Vampire Diaries I liked some of. So I don't know. I think vampires and like witches are things that I find really interesting. The lore and stuff behind them. That's more my thing versus like zombies, I think. But I think that sometimes zombie things are really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I prefer zombies over vampires. I feel like I was never a big vampire person.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I had seen a lot. Like I think maybe the one when I got sort of into vampires was when Underworld came out,
Hmm.
and I really liked Kate Beckinsale at the time. And vampires were
Yeah.
just cool. Were just depicted, cool.
Yeah.
Um, and that's not to say that there wasn't any vampire media that where vampires were really cool um, before Underworld. When did Underworld come out? Because Blade is probably what before that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Like Blade was like the 90s or something.
I think Blade was probably another property that I had seen that was pretty cool. But I wasn't. It wasn't enough to be like, oh man, I'm really into vampires. I want to see the next vampire thing.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, I think my favorite maybe probably the thing that I was most into was because of you was True Blood, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it's
Had you
just
watched it before me?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
I don't think so. But yeah, True Blood was I don't know. I feel like there was so much to True Blood. There's so much lore and like hierarchy and these vampires live for such a long time, so they have all this history. I feel like I had never seen that in things before.
Also the fact that they're like out in the open.
Right, right. That's another thing.
Like
That's
that's such
like
an interesting part of it.
yeah. They're coexisting with humanity,
Yeah.
and there's even a whole beer or whatever devoted to specifically
Blood.
produced, specifically produced artificially
Yeah,
blood that vampires could just buy
yeah,
in a bottle.
it's true blood.
True, yeah, true blood.
You know what, like, kind of, it's probably like cheesy nowadays, but the movie that I enjoyed,
Hmm.
Daybreaker or Daybreakers, which was it? Is it singular or is it plural? You know the one with Ethan Hawke?
Maybe sounds familiar.
Hmm. That one I enjoyed. Like I said, I don't know if it would still be like good nowadays, but like, and I feel like at the time, not like everyone liked it, but I really liked it. It was fun.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, True Blood. I mean, the thing about True Blood is just it's not just about vampires. There's a whole lot of other creatures in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I guess you could still call it a vampire show.
I mean, that's what it starts with,
Yeah,
but it's like based around, and then there's all the other things. And then there's like, you could like read into it about like vampires being like a metaphor for like gay people or something.
yeah,
And that's probably not what like the author meant, but Alan Ball, you know, making the show off of the book is probably, threw some of that in there on purpose.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then just I guess shout out to Dracula, the novel
Yeah.
by Bram Stoker.
I've never read it. Maybe I should one day.
It just I guess just the name Dracula, right? There has been so many movies and shows with actually I don't know about shows, but definitely movies with just the title Dracula.
Yeah.
I think the very first movie I saw, which was an adaptation of the book, was the one with Gary Oldman.
Yeah. That's the one I've seen. I don't
And yeah,
remember it that well, but yeah.
yeah, me neither. I remember I liked his depiction of Dracula because it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
And it's Gary Oldman.
hmm And I mean, Nosferatu just ripped off Dracula.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm sure there's a lot of things that I'm probably not mentioning.
That's all right.
I feel like we didn't mention From Dusk Till Dawn, which is probably a big thing amongst people. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like I was never that into that movie.
I've never seen it.
Gotta see it.
I know. It's like one I always, anytime I like hear the title or see like a poster or something, I'm like, I gotta see that. And then I don't know, I never see it streaming on something. I'm sure if I ever like happen upon it, I'll be like, oh yeah, let me watch this. But I just haven't yet. So I don't know. It looks all right. I just know everybody was super obsessed with Salma Hayek. All right,
Cool.
my turn. Would you want to be a vampire? And if you were turned into one, what would you want to do with your time?
Oh man, yeah, that's kind of a loaded question. I don't know. What would I want to do? I mean, I
Oh,
assume I would be okay. I would live forever, right?
okay, first question though, would you want to be one?
Well, yeah, that's why I'm asking all these questions.
Okay.
I would live forever, right?
I mean,
Oh,
unless someone killed
right.
you or you killed
Unless somebody.
yourself or
All right.
something.
Or yeah, or rather, I don't age, and I can only survive off of blood.
Yeah, let's go through like the old school lore of this. So like I mean, I guess you can go off the old school. That's what I would probably more base my decision on.
So that means I would need to kill people. Cause
I mean, maybe you could you steal blood bags?
I guess I feel like when you're a
I mean, it'd be
vampire,
kind of hard, but
you just wouldn't want to do that. Well, another question is, am I still me? Right? I mean, given the whole theme of this movie that we're talking about today.
yeah, this one's a little bit different. But I think most of the time when you're turned, you still are you. Now, there's different ones where like when they turn at first, they're a little like crazed or something, but then they start to become themselves over time. But yeah,
I feel like if somebody offered me the choice, I would probably not take it.
yeah.
That's like my gut instinct because I mean, I would want to see I would want to see like the future, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like I would end up killing people for blood. I feel like I would just turn into a bad person.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Well, let's say that you were turned against your will then. If you could live forever, what would you do with your time?
what would I do with my time? I mean, at this point, like I wouldn't need to work, right? Like I wouldn't need to. I could just travel anywhere without having to eat. Can I fly? um, well, I guess I do need blood, but I don't know. I feel like I would want to do the like I don't know how much my life would change. Like how much my goals and dreams would change if I were a vampire.
Yeah.
Um, like I guess I could turn to a vigilante or something if I wanted to with my newfound powers. But I also don't want to do that.
I mean, I'll admit that's not one of the things I was thinking, so that was creative. I was like, oh, am I a horrible person that I didn't think that route? Mine was just like, oh, like, what would I want to learn? Where would I want to go? Like,
But I'm just saying, like you could do all these things already. Like
I mean, but
what it?
if you have infinite time though, I when I the time between like high school and like actually working and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I picked up a bunch of like hobbies that I went through. That's why I have a guitar. That's why I have a keyboard. That's why I have a sewing machine. I was looking at like Morse code.
Yeah.
I was like, like I'm just that type of person. Now, here's my problem is once it gets hard, then I kind of like back off of things. But I like to learn the basics of things. So like if I had infinite time, I
Mm-hmm.
like learning different things. I probably wouldn't be mastering any of them, but
But see, like it's still you, right? Like you'd still be doing the same thing. You'd be picking up stuff and like, I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't know, maybe,
Like you're not any more productive when you're a vampire. If anything, you'd be less productive because you just feel lazy, like you didn't want to do anything. Like life's just like there's no urgency for anything. You know what I mean?
yeah. But also like, like I don't have as much time to do hobbies and stuff as I like did back then.
Well, I feel like we don't have enough time because We just have to survive first.
Yeah.
Like we need like money wise, we can't live without
Yeah.
money.
We have to work. So working takes a lot of time away from you and also energy away from you. But like, I don't know, if you're living infinitely, you're gonna get bored enough that it's like, I don't know, maybe I will actually try and master this one thing. Even if you just learn a little bit every once in a while, like if you have infinite time, you are gonna improve and improve.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like okay, this is my answer. If I were to be turned into a vampire, I would devote my life to understanding vampires.
Okay.
I feel like in everything that we are shown with vampires are just kind of like the bad guys,
Mm-hmm.
and you just see them and nobody ever knows anything about them, even though they've been around hundreds and hundreds of years. Like, how do people not know enough about them? I feel like I would be that vampire. No, I'm gonna go to
I mean, I think there's
the
a lot
science.
of
Go ahead.
there's usually a lot of lore behind them though in those worlds. It's just that like you and I, we're not studying vampires like in a realistic way right now because we don't believe they exist.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would be the one to out myself and hey, I'm a vampire.
Oh, you would let people know that you're a
Yeah,
vampire?
like
Oh, psh, good luck with that.
I'm the good guys. I'm trying to let you know. I'm trying to understand myself, and I get you guys, get humanity to understand vampires. I would be that
Yeah,
vampire.
I feel like you would be disappeared and you would be like a human experiment, a vampire experiment.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd live a good life.
Well,
Maybe if you make yourself like publicly known enough, but
mhm.
I feel like they would just be like, this guy's crazy.
I mean, I wouldn't just walk into a building though and be like, "Hey, do tests on me." I would still take precautions, like, "Hey, I don't want you capturing me or anything."
I, like I said, good luck with that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a pessimist and don't. I
Look, but
just feel like there's a lot of bad people out there. The governments are bad.
I just feel like I don't know, being a vampire and doing the vampire cliche thing of like just staying in the shadows and drinking blood at night, going to sleep in the daytime. I feel like I wouldn't want to do that. I would want to do something more.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Did you answer your I feel like what
No,
okay, what would you do if you were or would you want to be a vampire?
I feel like part of me would and part of me wouldn't. I wouldn't want to if I had to like kill people to survive. Um, Part of me, is afraid of dying. I'm a human. So you can just escape that for quite a while. That's kind of cool. Also, like, I don't know. I think sometimes when like I'm like, oh, if vampires exist, then like maybe, you know, other things exist. Maybe there is an afterlife. But I guess like if vampires exist and you choose to be a vampire, maybe you don't get to go to that afterlife because they're supposed to be evil, blah blah blah. I don't feel like that would be, I don't know. I'm that person that doesn't feel like people should be sentenced to hell based off of like certain things that were out of their control.
Yeah.
Um, or they're not just bad people. But like there's a part of me that, you know, I feel like if I'm lucky enough to live 100 years, that doesn't feel like enough. But also, I don't want to live without loved ones, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So at a certain point, like, aren't you gonna just like, Like that's just depressing. You just keep living and everything, and then like your loved ones just like die and you have to live without them. Like that doesn't feel like the kind of life I want to live necessarily.
What
But
if you
yeah, getting to live longer and see things and experience more and see the world change more. Something fascinating about that.
what if you can turn people though? Would you turn me? Would you? What if the dog could be a vampire? Vampire dog.
um, yeah, I don't know. I guess because I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I think the thought of, and that's why space freaks me out and stuff. The thought of something being like infinite is kind of scary, but this thought of something being finite is also scary to me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I guess, if I could live with you and the dog forever or for a really long time, it doesn't sound too bad to me, even with certain consequences. Like I said, I don't want to be harming other people to like live myself, but and then you'd also like if it's the old school vampire way where you're living, you have to like be inside during the day. You can only go out at night. That'd probably get pretty old pretty quick. As as we know how seasonal depression is a thing. That's like even worse than seasonal depression. Never like being out in the sun. I guess like I just yeah. I'm like, well, I guess if I was turned into a vampire and then finally felt like I had lived my life, I could just like kill myself. But I don't think if you and Tally were living with me, like I wouldn't want to kill you guys. And then it's kind of like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to leave you guys behind either. And yeah, I I probably wouldn't be a vampire. But yeah, I'd probably learn a bunch of stuff, try and travel and go places. And my whole goal in life is to one day be able to like help animals more in some way. So maybe as a vampire, I could, find some way to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but So yeah, not a very good answer, but that's my answer.
Can rob a few banks. Get a lot
Yeah.
of money.
I mean, that's the thing. That's why they have so much money, though, is because like they live forever, so they can just like work to accumulate some wealth and then just, once you're rich, you stay rich.
Yeah.
You just invest, I guess.
Yeah, I
It's
guess.
just getting covers for identity and things like that. But
Yeah, I guess in general, I don't know. Well, I guess yeah. In general, an individual as they live through life, they should theoretically, you know, accumulate more wealth. But you know, that's not always true. But I guess most people, for most individuals, that would touch. For most of humanity, that would probably be true. So yeah, so yeah, in general, yeah, you if a vampire lived
yeah,
for centuries,
money is just never shown as a problem for vampires.
yeah. Well, the thing is, like most depictions of vampires, if they're old, like they're they started off, you know, in the I don't know what 1800s, 1900s, early 1900s. I feel like most depictions of vampires like have lived through that, so they're old, and so they're probably in the gold era and just have accumulated wealth over time because I don't know, money was easier, like wealth was easier to get back then. As
For
opposed
some.
to now, yeah, I guess, yeah, yeah, as opposed to now where it's like there's just so many people in the world and so many billionaires, and it's just, if I were to turn into a vampire like right now, like I wouldn't just get rich all of a sudden. Like I would have to. It'd be a long time still.
Yeah.
Even yeah, it would be a long time and even hard too for a vampire. But yeah, cool. Anything else you want to say?
Nah. I just want to talk about this movie.
All right. All right, let's get into our little game where we say 5 words to describe this movie. I'm gonna go first, then Mia, then me, then Mia, then me again. 5 words that will be forever be sealed on this Discord. I don't know. Where else are we keeping them?
Nowhere.
Okay. Okay, so for my first word, I'm gonna pick music.
Mm-hmm.
You can't stop the music.
I'm gonna say guitar.
Guitar. I'm gonna say vampires. Say it. Vampire.
I'm gonna say free.
Free. I'm gonna say Mississippi. I feel like we need to add some setting in there.
Is it in Mississippi? I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought they said that at one point.
Clark's. Where is it? Clarkstown. What is it?
I don't know. I was like, it's either Louisiana or Mississippi.
Yeah, it's Clarksdale, Mississippi, 1932.
Okay.
Um. Yeah. So this film is a very music-driven story, full of blues and mastery of guitar. Um, so much music that it summons vampires, and a group struggles to deal with them in Mississippi as they themselves try to get free of this world and in life and in sorrow. I don't know.
Sure. Let's get into it.
All right. Sinners just came out in 2025. Just saw it. Written and directed by Ryan Coogler, the man himself,
Yep.
director of Wakanda Forever, Black Panther, the Creed movies. Actually, I think he only directed the first Creed, but
I was wondering about that. Yeah.
he wrote the other ones, I think.
Okay.
Characters are Smoke Stack twins, played both by, of course, Michael B. Jordan because he's not a. I don't think he has a twin brother. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan, who's apparently Ryan Coogler's favorite actor or something,
I was
right?
gonna say he's been in like all the things.
And then Sammy, played by Miles Caton, Mary by Haley Steinfeld, and the other characters are Slim, Beatrice, Cornbread, Grace, and Bo Chow. So yeah, this is a vampire movie, but it's also kind of weird. So what did you think, Mia?
You're not gonna read the
Oh
summary?
yeah, yeah. The summary is I got this from IMDb. Trying to leave their troubled lives behind, twin brothers return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back.
All right. I will say this is one of the ones that I saw the trailer for multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the trailer before we even started doing this podcast, I think. I was like, ooh, that looks interesting, and it's, or maybe like when maybe right after we first started. I don't know. Whenever the original trailer came out, I watched it. This is like, Sinners, that looks interesting. Saw the trailer and it's like, oh, vampire? Huh? Um, I loved it.
Good.
I, it was really, it was really well done. The music in it, like the way they incorporated the music
Mm-hmm.
as like part of the story, and the music was a character of its own, and there were multiple performances. Like like there was a group of vampires all singing a song together.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like,
It feels like a music. Like my word was almost musical.
yeah, it does. And I was like, people hate on musicals, but this feels pretty musical to me, but I'm loving it. And just yeah, I think they got the right director for the job. Well, I guess he wrote it, so that's why, but he very he incorporated a lot of things very well, and it it felt a little long at times. I was there for it for the whole thing. My only thing is like it's it's not a movie that's like gonna be one that I rewatch a lot,
Mm-hmm.
because it is such like it's a pretty like, it's got a lot going on in a good way, but it's not like a like super light horror movie to watch, like, where it's just kind of like a little more superficial or something. Like this has like some depth to it, and you're not always gonna watch something like that a million times. Now, would I rewatch this? Oh, for sure. Would I recommend this for people? Oh yeah.
I mean, I feel like the vampire thing doesn't start until like maybe
Yeah,
halfway through the movie.
there's a lot of setup.
It's just a story about these twins coming back home and trying to build this like juke joint. And so they're just going to town and seeing their old friends and hiring some people. Um, but yeah, like I was surprised. Like this was a vampire movie. Like when that came across my thoughts. I remember the trailer. They're having more like gore and stuff, but and like I guess it gets and then yeah,
The
and it
trailer made it feel like it was going to be like almost like a Blade type movie, right?
yeah
Like it's
it
like him shooting a gun, all like, like it like looked a lot more like actiony.
and those parts are there. They're just
Yes, but the whole thing isn't that.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm fine with that.
No, I really like the story. Like I like the characters. I like Michael B. Jordan's depiction of the two twin brothers.
Yeah, that's what I was curious on, what you thought of him playing twins.
And I liked how we just followed them for a while, as we get familiarized with like this town and their history and everything.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, in that way, it's kind of a slow burn, I would say. But yeah, I was still intrigued by everything, and yeah, the vampires. This reminded me a lot of True Blood. I feel like just the depiction of these vampires were very like True Bloody,
I could kind of see
where it's like they're
some of
like
them. Yeah.
you could tell they've lived for a long time, and it's like, well, especially the main vampire, like he's just kind of like
I mean, he's the only one who's
toying
lived a long time.
toying with people. They're like carefree. They don't, you know, worry about anything. It's I feel like that character specifically was like, oh yeah, this reminds me of a character from True Blood. But I actually really like that character, the
Yeah,
villain
as soon as you
vampire.
said the reminds you of True Blood, yeah, the Haley Seinfeld character, she reminded me of one of the characters that I can't think of right now what her name was from True Blood. Marianne? Is it Marianne? Bill's like maker or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, he was from Skins. I
The
was like, I know this guy, the main vampire, the white guy.
Yeah, what's his name? Because
They're like Irish.
it's not in the.
Um, I think it's Jack O'Connell. Yeah, he played James Cook, I think, in Skins. I believe that's the character, right? Let me double check.
Yeah, yeah, he was great. I liked him a lot. Yeah, Jack O'Connell.
Yeah, James Cook. Yeah, he was Cook. Yeah, he was really good. He I really like when it shifted from like, this like super soulful blues music that's happening in the club and like, you're feeling it, and then it cuts to like them wanting in to like three white vampires and they just start singing their song, and it's like such a different feel,
Yeah.
but it's also still really good. Like I was like, okay, but like this is a really good song, but it's so like cheesy, like
Mm-hmm.
compared to the other stuff.
Yeah, it's like ragtimey, like like
Yeah, exactly.
hippie, like well, maybe not hippie, but like I don't know, for lack of a better phrase, hick music. But I know it all pays homage to like I guess Southern culture, like both these cultures, white music, whatever you want to call it, and then of course blues that came from African American um, culture. Like I guess it's just trying to depict a just the whole culture of the South.
Well, and how, yeah,
Yeah, and
how
how it's intertwined with
exactly how ingrained music is
yeah.
in certain cultures, and especially like back then, that was, and it's the guy who turns out to be like the main, what's it called, the like clan leader.
Um, I don't remember
There's
the
like the name for like the person.
the guy who sold him the property.
Yeah, I think his name was Hogwood or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, Hogwood. Yeah.
But what's the like the name for like somebody who's like the leader of a clan? Not
Um,
like dragon. It's like,
clan leader.
no. Okay, whatever. Um,
But
I
yeah.
don't even know where I was going with
Well, I mean,
that.
yeah, that's to say that this whole movie is also about racism and
Oh, he says like the clan doesn't exist anymore.
yeah,
That's my
yeah,
point. And it's just like, because this is what, 1939?
yeah, 1930s. Uh-huh.
So it's like clearly there's still like segregation. There's still racism. There's
Mm-hmm.
still like, like 1939 was still very segregation existed really far into the future for
Yeah,
that.
no, yeah.
Um, so yeah, like this is them coming back from Chicago where they were working with Capone, which I found really interesting since like, I liked Boardwalk Empire and
Mhm.
Capone's a part of that. I'm just trying to picture like Michael B. Jordan in like Boardwalk Empire working with Capone. um, but yeah, this is like they build this thing for their community where ideally they'll make money too, but it'll also be a place that's like a safe place for everyone to come together and play good music and have a good time. And, you know, I think it's sad that had this vampire thing not even happened, the club still wouldn't have stayed open, probably,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because the KKK was going to come and kill them anyway. But yeah, they're searching for the little bit of freedom that they can get. And, at the end of the movie, they talk about that, how like, before everything went down with the vampires and stuff, how like that was one of the best nights of their lives, and just that time of being free and being together and playing that music.
yeah, yeah. I guess in a way, this story is very um like there's more themes, serious themes about racism and just history.
Mm-hmm. And just the culture.
Yeah, but
And I wish,
also but like at the same time, that's all juxtaposed with vampires. Like I feel like I don't know, would this movie do better? Like, what did you think about all those themes being in this vampire movie, which I feel like just puts that whole thing into a halt and then picks it up at the end. Do you know what I mean?
uh, I mean, I feel like I'm cool with it. I
Yeah,
guess
no, I'm cool with it too. It's just
I see what you're saying, but it's like how many vampire movies have we seen?
yeah. And how
And
many
then
racism movies have we seen too, right?
yeah. So this combines the two to create something fresh. And then there's also a big part of like some of like the South and the Bayou and stuff is like there is a lot of stuff about like supernatural things and voodoo and haints and all these, so that's a big part of that culture too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it makes sense to do a horror film and to have, they went with vampires as the main thing. Like the lady was even talking about how, like, oh, these aren't just like haints, these are vampires specifically. And I liked that about it. And then there's this whole thing about like things that are sinful,
Yeah.
is, you know, going out and dancing, your bodies touching, sweating against each other. Is that sinful? Is playing this blues music and singing about certain things sinful? Is drinking and gambling and having sex and like all these things?
Yeah, those yeah, there's a lot in this movie when it comes to
Yeah.
those themes and the themes of
Yeah.
religion as well. And
That's why it makes sense that it was so long. And I wish I could speak more eloquently about certain things. I just have a very basic knowledge of certain things. I'm not as informed as I would like to be. But
yeah,
yeah.
I guess, yeah, my whole comment was it does kind of feel like two movies. Like
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
it completely shifts into like this vampire plot line. But I'm just wondering, yeah, like I guess at the end of the day, like I don't want it to just be a historical film about the Deep South and its racist roots, and I just don't want it to be another generic vampire movie either. So
Yeah.
in that sense, I feel like this is a pretty good movie because Ryan Coogler does kind of. I feel like he really wants to put like history in this movie, but also make it a fantasy.
But I
Uh,
also
and that sometimes it sometimes works better than if it was just the other things.
I think it's also important though that this is about like that time period, this is about history, this is about a certain culture, and it's not just a movie about racism.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that sometimes the racism, like the KKK aspect of it, is just kind of thrown in the back because that's not the only thing that matters about this time.
Yeah,
And I feel like so many stories about that time period, that's always the main thing like happening, where it's like, there's other things to show, there's other things to like celebrate, there's other, things that are were happening. So I think I like that that wasn't the center of the story.
yeah,
That's a part of the story as it is a part of these people that lived through that time, but that's not all they were.
yeah. I mean, you also can't just when you're creating something. I feel like you can't just disconnect history.
Yeah.
Like history is so a part of everything we do. Like even in the game we're playing, South of Midnight, a lot of it is because
Yeah.
they're in the South and just there's just deep roots in slavery and plantation
Yeah.
owners or whatever, and that's shown in the video game as well.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna set this in the deep South, like this, you can't just not show some history of it because then it kind of be misleading, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I think Ryan Coogler is just like, I feel like he's just working on so many levels with sort of the myths and the, I guess, superstitions that I'm probably not catching, you know,
Yeah.
like the whole thing about music as well. I'm sure that has, you know, at
Some
some
kind of
point,
history to it.
yeah, especially
Yeah.
with religion and oh, that's the devil's music. Don't You're gonna summon a devil if you play like that or whatever, and that's sort of what they did. But I'm wondering if that was actually like a myth or like a folk tale or like a
Yeah. I feel like I've always been kind of interested in like folk tales, and I feel like there's something very interesting to me about that kind of stuff, especially I feel like I growing up didn't hear as much about that. Usually when you heard about the South growing up in school, it was so much focused on like slavery and segregation and
mm-hmm.
things like that. So like as I've grown up and seen other like media, and like even in True Blood, like they're in the South, but like there's some like, you know, things that they hit on in there and just other media where they've shown that kind of, I don't know what the terminology is for it, but Southern history and folk tales and folklore. And I've always kind of liked
The Haint.
bluesy rock and things like that. Yeah. And like, like there's, especially because it's like supernatural like stories from like within the US.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like usually when we hear more of that kind of stuff, it's based on like Salem witch trials. So we'll hear some like witch type stuff based off the Salem witch trials or something, but not as much about the South and the history of like stories coming from there. And it's a thing that I always want to like learn more about. Anytime I see anything bring it up, I'm like, I need to study this kind of stuff more. I need to look more into this because I do want to know more about that. And there's something I like about, like I said, different folklores and like different superstitions and things like that.
Yeah. So what did I'll ask you this about Michael B. Jordan. I feel like he hasn't been your favorite actor.
Mhm.
How did you feel about him in this?
I feel like Michael B. Jordan is always really good in what I see him in. I feel like I just always see Michael B. Jordan. I don't always like see the characters he's playing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he plays them pretty close to home.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that I've ever like he's fine, but
Yeah.
I thought he was good in this. I
Yeah.
really liked him in this.
Yeah.
I liked everyone in this.
Yeah. I liked him in this a lot too.
I
I
think I believed him as two different characters.
yeah. Yeah. I actually really like him in Creed, just because I love Rocky, the Rocky movies. But yeah, he Creed is probably my favorite thing he's been in. Um,
I don't know. Have I talked badly about Michael B. Jordan?
I don't know. I feel like you were never really a. I think it was just yeah, he kind of just plays it like Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, which like is fine.
Yeah.
I just like I don't, you know, I feel like he's been cast in things where his acting makes sense. So like I don't have a problem with his
Yeah.
acting in anything.
What did you think of the ending, or the credits scene? I guess it was still the movie. It wasn't really.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting that they did that. Like I wonder if anybody like seeing this is gonna like leave, even though there's like a whole scene after. Um, I liked it. I think it kind of made sense.
I kind of like now. I'm more interested in like them like a show or like something in this universe.
I think that's the thing. I feel like this could be a really good like show. This feels like more of what I was wanting from a Lovecraft country or whatever. Because that took place like in the South, right? Like back.
Mm-hmm.
Was that in what was that in like the 20s, the 30s? I don't know.
But yeah,
But like, yeah,
I enjoyed that scene a lot.
yeah.
Yeah,
How
it's.
did you
Go ahead.
how did you feel about the first like when they first started playing music and it started showing people from like other times?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. I'm a big mixed on it.
That's how I feel. At first, I was really digging it when it showed just like a couple people. Then it started showing the guy in the electric guitar,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of weird." And then showed like more people, and I was like, "But you know what? It kind of makes sense. It's incorporating all of it. Like it's a little jarring to like your brain, but
Yeah, I
I
feel
feel
like
like
I like the idea, but maybe not the execution.
I just don't know how it could have been executed like differently. So I think, like I said, it was a little like jarring. It kind of like looked kind of like weird. But I mean, she did say the intro that, it calls people from like future, present, past, like,
Yeah. I mean, I feel yeah. I think it for me it was maybe a bit too on the nose,
yeah,
especially as she explains it. Like the
yeah,
narrator outright explains it as the scene is going on.
yeah.
Um, and they're like physically like there.
Hmm.
It's not like I don't know. Maybe I wanted like some more vagueness.
Yeah. It just made me think of that because when the ending credits, when he comes, like, uh, who was it? Stack? Or was it Smoke?
Stack.
Stack, right?
Yeah.
And Mary
Yeah.
come in, like, they look so, like, they
90s.
kind of look goofy, right? Because they're, like, so, like, styled differently
Mm-hmm.
that it's just kind of like their appearance is, like, jarring compared to what you were seeing them as before.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that scene. I like the old Sam, who is played by Buddy Guy, who's apparently uh, a famous musician um, who was a big inspiration for Jimi Hendrix and all these other guys. And he's
Yeah.
um, yeah, I guess yeah, he was born in the 1930s, so it's not like they're not trying to say that this is Buddy Guy, right?
Hmm.
They're just I
But
guess
it's
they're
playing homage to
yeah.
it. Yeah.
They're trying to say like this could be somebody like as
Yeah.
popular and as
No, that's cool. And
iconic
that's
as
cool
Buddy
that
Guy.
they got him. Because that's why I thought he kind of looked familiar. And then the name came up, and I was like, I feel like I've definitely heard that name.
Yeah, I knew he was somebody important, and then I looked it up right after the movie. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
because it was too obvious. It was too like I feel like this doesn't feel like an actor. I feel like this is an
Yeah.
actual musician. Um,
Well, and also it was like full on showing him like playing.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I feel like when Sammy, as the younger one, was playing, like they didn't really show him playing as much. Like they cut away from like his hands on the guitar. And like maybe that guy plays
Yeah.
some guitar, the actor,
Yeah.
but it just seemed like it cut away a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, it's an interesting scene because um I guess in a sense the since they killed the main villain vampire, like they're sort of free to do whatever they want. I feel like that released them, right? Like
Maybe I was wondering about that because I mean before the main guy was even dead though,
cuz they're like friends now, right?
Jack couldn't kill Smoke or yeah.
Like the buddy guy, or old Sammy and you know, um, Stack, it seems like they could be friends now with humans. Whereas before, I feel like they were mind controlled almost. Like, no, we need to kill everybody. But
No,
now
that's
they're
what I'm
sort,
saying though.
but then now they're free.
But even before the guy was dead though, Stack wouldn't kill Smoke.
Oh
Like he
yeah.
couldn't kill his
So
brother.
I feel like there was something. Okay, I thought that was something to do with what he was wearing, like the necklace
Oh,
thing.
because he was wearing the protection?
Yeah,
Maybe. Yeah, because it did seem like he was physically halted, right?
yeah. That's what I.
Yeah.
That's my sense in that scene.
Okay. That makes sense then. Because I was wondering, I was like, is it because they're like blood? They can't kill their other blood or what? And yeah, so maybe Yeah, maybe he couldn't, and then because Smoke didn't kill Stack in return, then once he actually does kill the leader vampire, that they are, like you said, maybe a little more free. But yeah, I don't know.
It's
I
just
don't.
like it's just like True Blood,
I release you.
right? Like you're like enslaved to your maker.
Maybe. I found it interesting that the vampire was like burning up even though he was in water. Because I was thinking about that when he was in the water to begin with, and like the sun was like starting to come up, and I was like, what happens if a vampire just like hides in like the depths of water? Will they still burn? Because light can kind of still get through, but and
Yeah,
then like when he caught on fire, because he was, I mean, his skin was still definitely exposed. His like main part of his body was still out. Uh, but he like completely caught on fire, even though he was like in the water, even below the water was like on fire, and I found that all interesting.
yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah. I think you could still burn underwater.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure. You never see vampires in water.
Yeah, yeah. A vampire would still burn underwater because yeah, even though the water is not harmed.
So you saw the trailer, right?
Yes.
Do you remember seeing him shoot with the like automatic?
Yeah.
When did you think that was going to happen?
Oh man, I don't know. I totally had forgot about that scene, and I'm like, oh,
Oh, really?
and then when it showed, I'm like, okay, this will be the scene then.
Well, they
When it,
said about a trunk, and I was like, okay, that's where the other weapons are. And I was like, I'm assuming that's in the on the truck still.
yeah, yeah, I forgot about him shooting the Tommy gun or whatever.
Well, he like when he like went off on the Mary girl and like was like dual wielding shooting her. Then I was like, oh yeah, there's still like the Tommy gun part. And then I was like trying to figure out where it was going to be. And then I was like remembering that it was like in daytime when it happens. And so then I was like, maybe they'll like chase them all into the club and then he's going to like shoot at them while they're in there. But it shows that bullets don't work. So like I was just like confused trying to figure out that. And then when it like killed all the vampires, I was like, oh, he's gonna kill the KKK
Mm,
people.
yeah.
Okay, that's where we're going with this. And then, like, sure enough, that's like what happened. Because I was like, still hasn't happened. It happens in daytime. Oh, he's killing them. Good for him. Um, ooh, what did you think about Grace? That's the Grace Chow, the mom,
Oh,
when she invited everybody in.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like I guess in a way she killed them all, but at the same time, like I feel like Smoke what didn't have an idea of what to do.
I mean, she really didn't give him like any time to even think
Yeah.
of it, though. I think,
I mean, I don't blame her. She is worried about her daughter and
yeah, I really liked all the characters in this, and I liked her, and I believed her reasoning for it. And I liked that she was just like, we just got to do something. We got to jump in action. We got to kill them. Because so often, like, especially in horror films, it's always like, let's get away, let's hide, let's. And she was like, no, we need to kill them. I wish she would have, like I said, given him a little
Mhm.
more time to think. But her being a parent and them threatening her daughter, I kind of get it. But yeah, I wasn't expecting her to do that. So that was pretty interesting.
I wasn't expecting it to last that long. But I guess it's not. I guess they don't really have like super abilities, except for maybe the main villain who can fly with,
Yeah.
or like some he can float or something. You don't
Yeah, I
really
don't
see
know
it.
what exactly.
But like, yeah, I guess it would make sense.
Yeah.
They just got turned, so maybe they they don't have super strength or whatever.
Yeah. Like I said, I like that they went with the more old school, that they needed to be invited. I was paying attention to that like right away when the leader guy shows up at the doorstep
Oh
of
yeah,
the like white couple. Like I was like, is this a thing where he needs to be invited in? I think so, you know? And then sure enough, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. And then it happened with them wanting to get into the club. And I was like, yep, invitation thing going on. That's cool. And then like the garlic, them all eating garlic was like smart. I did really love the vampires and how when they turned like they still like knew everybody's memories and like they learned each other's memories and stuff. Or was it just the leader, I guess, learning everybody's things? I don't know. But they became very like cunning and charming. And we're
mm-hmm.
like, hey man, just let me in. Like, you can't let me live out here. Like, it's cold out here. You make me walk home. You drove me here. Like,
I'm telling you, dude, it's like True Blood. Maybe Ryan Coogler really liked True Blood.
I mean, or maybe True Blood has just taken from the history of vampires.
Yeah, yeah, that's
I
true.
think that's probably more it.
Yeah, that's true. That's True Blood.
I think that's kind of, you know, vampires are kind of known for being, you know, charming, and that's how they like trick people. So, yeah, just I liked this take on vampires.
Cool.
But like this is one of the movies where I'm like I really want to listen to other people talk on it and listen to like Ryan Coogler talk on it and delve more into, you know, the history of vampires at this time period, history of more of Southern culture that's not relating to just slavery and segregation and things like that. And
Yeah.
I want to hear more of the meaning behind certain things. And I wish I
Yeah,
had more knowledge on that.
I'm curious to see how this movie's gonna do.
I hope it does well.
I feel like it won't though.
I know that's what I worry about. Because I think movies like this are important, and I think this is just a good movie at the end of the day.
Yeah. Because what are
And
people
it's a
saying
good,
now? Minecraft?
yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, other movies Michael B. Jordan has been in have been pretty successful.
Yeah, he definitely has the draw power.
Yeah. So, and Ryan Coogler,
Yeah, I mean Ryan Coogler. Yeah, but I mean still, he's only done. I mean, actually,
yeah, but all they have to do is advertise it and be like, look at the poster. It's from Ryan Coogler, director of Black Panther and Creed.
yeah, yeah.
Michael B. Jordan, like big on the posters. Ooh, can we talk about the posters? Have you seen some of the other posters?
I mean, I've only seen this one that I have here.
Okay. There's like quite a few good ones. I think as far as like there's some like ones with like art on it. I feel like it looks more like it's almost like the cover of a like graphic novel or something.
Hmm.
There's one with him like standing in front of the door with a gun, which I kind of like. But
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this main one that you have here.
yeah, that's just the main one that I kept seeing, so that's why I put it. But yeah, you should look at like IMDb, look at the photos for Sinners, and like there's a bunch of really cool posters. I really like them. So yeah, that was Sinners.
That was Sinners.
I'm really happy I liked it. I was a little worried.
Yeah, I really liked it too.
I
I'm excited to see what he comes up with next.
and I liked that like the twin brothers were different and even their like past loves were different. They had more of a like full figure woman
Mm-hmm.
for one of the parts, which you don't always see, dude.
Oh yeah, I see the artsy posters. Yeah,
Aren't they
they're
cool?
cool.
They're really cool. I like that, the
Just
story with Smoke losing the baby and stuff was really sad. I
wait.
like the way they ended it with him joining her and the baby again. And I like that she was the one that was into all that supernatural stuff. I liked that element of it. And I really liked that Sammy still kept doing music.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the whole.
Music was a part of
Yeah,
him. He wasn't going to let that go. His dad was like, drop the guitar. And he's like, nope, this is me.
yeah, that's just a big part of humanity is music and art.
Yeah.
And no matter what somebody tells you, if it's the devil's work, like if you really love it, you should do it.
Music helps so many people. And I'm sure it was a big outlet for people back then. Music and church and.
Yeah, that's one of the things. If aliens come to Earth and discover a long dead human civilization, that's one of the things we'd probably be well known for is our music.
Yeah. I mean, our
I'd like to think so anyway.
all the different ways that we express ourselves, music, art, love.
Love movies.
Yeah,
Okay,
so cool.
that was Sinners. All right, so to wrap it up, we have a new thing that we're gonna do.
Are you saying what we're watching first or after?
Oh yeah.
Didn't you already say last week? I don't remember what it was. What was it?
Oh yeah, we're watching Until Dawn.
Oh, that's right. Keep forgetting that it's coming out that soon. Cool. So another theater watch
Yeah, another movie that's coming out next week. I'm
based
curious.
off the video game.
Yeah. I really like the video game, but I'm curious how much it'll translate to a movie and what casual audiences will think of it.
Yeah, I feel like it's not going to be great, but
Like the thing with me is like this didn't need to be turned into a movie. Just
yeah,
play the
it's
game.
already like a movie.
It's already a movie.
An interactive one. Yeah. But I don't know.
And
I feel like it's,
Rami Malek's not in the movie, right? And he was a main guy in the game with his face and
I mean,
everything.
he's probably a little too old for that now to play that character.
Yeah, I guess
I
so.
mean, the movie has, or the game has very, the teenagers in a horror movie type. It feels like it's very similar. It took from a lot of like horror movies already, you know?
Yeah.
So it should be able to translate back into that, but we'll see.
So to lead us into our next thing that we're gonna do to end the podcast, that's not something I'm really looking forward to. No, I'm curious about it, but it wasn't something on my radar. It's like, oh yeah, man, this I love this game. I'm really excited for the movie. It's like, no, I love this game, but I feel like they're gonna mess up on the movie. Well, it's not gonna be
Yeah.
as good. But anyway, our new thing is to let you guys know what we're looking forward to. It could be pretty much anything. It could be.
It could be a movie, it could be a game, it could be a song coming out, it could be something in our real life.
Mhm. So Mia, what is something you're looking forward to?
I'm gonna say Japan.
Oh yeah, the Japans. Yeah.
We're going to Japan. Not for a while, but we're doing it and we've been getting all our stuff figured out for it. That's my
Yeah.
answer. What are you looking forward to?
Man, mine's not as cool as that.
I
Mine's
mean, I can only use this one time,
yeah.
so.
I'm really looking forward to Andor,
Oh, yeah, me too. That's like really soon.
which is next week on Tuesday.
Yeah,
I'm very worried.
because it got a bigger budget.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna turn it into something even bigger. I don't know. It's gonna lose its charm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, sometimes it just seems like the head people get involved when they shouldn't, and are
mhm.
like, you need to do this, you need to do this, and then it just ruins it.
Did you see the trailer?
No, I don't want to.
Okay. Yeah, the trailer was very big on showing all the accolades that this received.
Ay, ay, ay.
So I'm like, yeah,
I mean, they're probably panicking because
yeah.
of the acolyte.
Well, yeah, because of all the other Star Wars media that has come out of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just hope they keep it. I hope they don't. I don't know. I just. I hope they don't start introducing Force users. Like, okay, maybe one. Like, if there's like a small reference to a Force user, sure, I'll take that. But like,
Yeah.
if there's all of a sudden a Force wielding or a lightsaber
Yeah.
wielding character, then I'm like, ah, they're
I mean,
gonna,
Andor season one was definitely not about that.
yeah. It's like another Jedi, and it's probably tied to the Skywalker somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, always. Yeah, I don't
Uh,
know. I'm gonna go in optimistic.
no, I'm still looking forward. This is probably one of the only Star Wars shows that or Star Wars thing that I have been really looking forward to in a long time.
And I just like Diego Luna, so.
You, you like? You sound like you dislike.
No, I like Diego Luna. So that and I just really like.
Yeah, yeah, I like Diego Luna too.
Your heaps.
I have the thing I'm writing this like epic space fantasy. And my main character is a my base inspiration for the main human character is Diego Luna as an old person.
I can see that. That's
Uh,
cool.
but yeah, that's what we're looking forward to: Japan and Andor season 2.
Yep. So see you next week for Until Dawn.
Next week, we will have seen episode 1 of season 2 of Andor. We can talk
Yes.
about it a little. We can talk about it a little bit.
Yep.
All right. See you guys. Bye.